Hey, what up, everybody? This is Steve Loney, and we have a great episode. The first one we kicking off called Men on the Rise. And today we sit down with individuals, actually a good friend of mine, particularly, that's actually doing some great things. And we're actually going to have a real discussion about men talk. So we're going to have a great time. Just sit back, relax, but also hope you learn something along the conversation. Today I have a privilege of talking to my guy, Chanamare. Chanamare, how you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing well, big fella. How you doing today?
Man, I'm cool. I'm cool, man. I know it's kind of cool up there where you at, man. But if you wouldn't mind, I want you to share with everybody a little about yourself. Just kind of introduce who is Shalimar. Tell the people a little bit about you.
Chanamare is a gentleman from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. I'm a guy that grew up not knowing who his father is, coming from a single parent household, which kind of led me to my purpose. Not having my father in my life always gave me a soft spot for the youth, because in my neighborhood, I watched a lot of guys grow up and get taken away from us, and then the streets and jail, those type of things. But I'm a father. I'm a grandfather now too, even though I'm a young grandfather. But I'm a man of God, love people, and I'm a people person.
Hey, man, that's awesome, man. We got some things in common when it comes to that. But yeah, man, pretty much I want to talk about that first, man. This is how important fathers could be in the lives of their children. But also, I want to share with you, even though it's very important to have a father in their life. And I've pretty much had my father from day one. But the challenge was my father was, I would say, the third child in the house from that during that point, because he had his own struggles. And so even though we always say it's great to have the father in the child's life, but also from my standpoint, and during that time, it was also a hindrance to my growth, because my father was my first introduction to drinking. He at a very young age introduced me to what drugs was. And so I want to kind of have that talk for a second, because you said, like, some of us say is we don't have a father in our life, but I want to say maybe we bumped the head a little bit, but I would also want to make sure we have a healthy relationship with our father. So what does that look like? But also, let me just hear your viewpoint when we say, even though you didn't have a father, what was that like for you? And what would you now say, man, the importance of having a father? But also, let's just kind of talk about it for a second.
Well, let me clarify. I had a stepfather. He
Okay.
actually worked a lot, but he wasn't in the house. I didn't see him that often, and I didn't have a lot of conversations with him. I did learn that work ethic from watching him always grind and working those things. So it was positive in that capacity. I don't know my biological father, so I used to
Okay.
wonder what that would look like. But then as I got older, I realized if I did have a relationship with my biological father, that would have changed this version of me into something totally different. So that wasn't my plan. It wasn't the path that God set forth for me. So I accept who I am, and then I try to give back, because I know a lot of us um, kind of sit on one side of the fence. Your father was in your life, but he wasn't necessarily present in a positive capacity. So we need fathers. We need father figures. We need positive role models and individuals that help us, one, provide structure, two, give us discipline, and being able to speak life into us when we start facing adversity during, you know, trials and tribulations in life, especially as a young man growing up in this world without being able to have an easy path, that I'll say.
That's so important, man. You hit it right on head, man. Because like I said, what I've learned through my journey, I had positive figures. It was some coaches, or either from my uncles, different people who was leading in their families and showing me positive examples as who I gravitated to. Now, as my father started changing his life and got it on pattern later on, I started, connecting. We've got to build a greater relationship. But I do want to encourage the individual, because I heard it from Bishop Jake. Said he had a young guy who was very similar, who didn't have his father. He blamed a lot of things that he was going through in life because he didn't have his father, but not understanding he had other positive men in his life that was actually playing a major part in his success. And so don't discredit where the help comes from. Because a lot of times, if it don't come the way we want it to come, we don't count it as help. And so I encourage those, if you have someone who, even from afar, either through a book, even through something you watch, to be a positive influence in your life, credit that and learn all you can from that to be able to help you to wherever you're going. Because I knew in my life, when I got around my 20s, me connecting around these positive men really started helping me to shape my direction towards my future. And so, man, I want to encourage that, man. But if you want to chime back on that a little bit, because you hit the spot on when it says about it may not be in a form like our father, but other men present in our life can make a major difference towards where we're going.
Yeah, and I missed something in the beginning, and I want to thank you. Because ever since I met you, man, your spirit, your positiveness, you always speak life into people. You generally are here to help people, and you don't see that very often. Sometimes you have to go out in the world and create the things that you don't see. So I don't take that lightly, and I appreciate you for being that version of you and understanding your walk in life. So I say thank you. But also, to get back to your point, yeah, in life, I had to find mentorship through books. I didn't have personal interaction with a lot of individuals. I didn't have the internet and all those things when I was growing up. So I kind of struggled to be able to find mentorship. So wherever I could find men that were doing positive things and they looked like they were impacting lives, I was gravitating towards that. And it would be the same thing that I would encourage young people to do right now. Figure out who you are, figure out what you want to do. It's plenty of people out here that's doing what you want to do. So it's a blueprint. You follow that blueprint. And if you can't financially invest in yourself, volunteer. Go in there and help somebody. Say, you know what, sir, I love what you're doing. Can I have a conversation with you? What do I need to do to be able to get myself where you are? And people love to see somebody that's willing to do the work to be able to help themselves. We have a tendency in this world not to be able to ask for help, and we got to get out our own ways. We have to ask for help, but also we need to make ourselves valuable to make sure that we're providing value to somebody else as well so that they can pour them back into us.
Man, that's good, man. That's so good, man. I think back even with me figuring it out, I have to look at it like this. What bothers me is a lot of time what I have been called to help fix. And in order for me to make a difference, I have to not only think about how can I just start from scratch with things. A lot of us, we get a great idea. And I was just having a conversation with one of my young guys this week. And he felt like, man, I can go out there and start my own this and that. I'm like, man, it's only because the person from the stage making it look easy. Don't mean it's that easy, man. So sometimes it's best to be a great number two before you take on the role as being a number one, because some of the things you don't know until you're in it. You like, wish I would have started off being a student before I actually try to be a leader. And so the great leaders are always a great student, man. So that's something I had to learn. I'm still learning because, like I say, meeting brothers like yourself, man, who bring a lot of greats to the table and have some experiences, man, we can collaborate and partner together on something and get so much more done because you are in your sweet spot. I'm in my sweet spot, and we both bring a different element to the table, man. Well, we don't have to take that burden or that challenge on by ourselves. And so it's so important to make sure that you get around like-minded people. Yes. And let's go ahead and tackle whatever it is in life together, man. So it's valuable to have great people around you and doing great work together, man. So that's been a great plus for me, especially in this day. I realized during my 30s, I was doing a lot of wanting to be in the forefront. And now I'm like, it doesn't take that much energy. I can save so much stress by this partnering with great people like yourself, man. So that's important, man. So we got some great stuff coming down the pipe, but we're going to be connected on. So I'm excited just to see how that's going to come about as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that because what you said is powerful. Us as men, we don't have a safe space where we normally can come together and be able to talk about the things that we struggle with in life. That's what I wanted with a father. I wanted a father, somebody I can talk to when I'm going through something to give me direction, but be able to find like-minded men that want to help other men grow and evolve to be the best versions of ourselves is so much needed. 64% of Black children grow up in single-parent households. That's a problem. I'm not saying that, we all are perfect and we make decisions, but growing up in single-parent households, a woman is only 50% of the equation when it comes to a child. That other 50% matters. And we don't understand that fathers are to daughters, they're their first relationship. To sons, they're the first version of what a man's supposed to look like. What is that man supposed to do? What is the job and title? What is a man designed to do? And we kind of minimize that in our society today, the importance of having men. So that's why I like to be able to come together and, as you said, and build with other men that are doing things because we need to impact our community and we can't do it alone.
Man, spot on, man. That's definitely good stuff right there, man. To know that our presence, our roles are so important to the growth of the young men.
Yes.
Just knowing that a lot of time us as men, even though we're looking at the provider, we also bring forth that portion of that discipline, that structure that's needed, because without the discipline, I was just recently hearing this, how we're raising a soft generation. Not saying all kids don't have that go get it and stick with it, but sometimes when you don't have that discipline, you're willing to drop stop and just because things don't go as well as planned.
Yeah.
And so when you have, it doesn't come right away, someone tells you no, then you will stick to it because it's a yes at the end of it, because you understand what it's going to take in order to get to that space you're trying to get to, man. So that's important. Like I say, I had a father who was a little bit more tougher than I think necessary, but it also made me realize life is not going to be fair. And when we realize life is not going to be fair, man, we're willing to roll up and figure out, okay, it's not happening this way, but I'm not going to quit, but I'm going to figure out and I'm going to stick to it because I know it's a yes at the end of this. So that's even in on the workplace. That's even in the things we do in the community, whatever it is. You can win, but you have to be willing to be disciplined enough to stay with it long after the feeling of doing it has left. And that's some great things I think we as men bring to the table, because life is not going to ever be fair, regardless who you are.
I agree. I definitely agree. One of my first coaches, Kendall Fickman, shout out to Kendall Fickman. He said this, and I'll never forget it. He said, people want what it looked like, not what it feel like. Because you get a chance to look at life from social media standpoint, and it looks like it's peaches and cream. It look like but they don't understand the grind that comes along with success. When you talked about discipline and you talk about, the importance of having males and father figures in your life to be able to push you. When you think about the single parent household like I came from, the academic issues that come with it, the behavioral issues that come with it, the mental fortitude to be able to adapt to certain environments, not having those things. When we say a softer era of young men, not mean soft that they can't adapt, but just not being able to fight through and understand that it's always worth it. But the journey may be difficult to get there, but it's worth it no matter what it looks like. So you have to continue to keep pushing. So it doesn't go according to plan, but doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So to be able to be around like-minded men, to be able to continue to push you forward, evolve you, and talk you through some of the trauma and things that you go through, because we take those things lightly and we think that we can help ourselves and heal ourselves based off of what we see and how we have conversations with other people. I just think it's very important to be able to have men speak life into you.
No doubt, man. It makes me think about the piece of when we talk about these men, some of the challenges that come along with it that we sometimes kick under the rug, because a lot of us have different things going on, mental health issues, things have not been addressed. And so sometimes we go out there and do other things to cope with life. And so addressing the areas of how to deal with mental health, because everybody has different challenges. For instance, I don't know, I've never been tested for ADHD, but I could see some similarities. But in the same time, us been able to dig to the root of how we are structured can help us to really become better in the areas of where we're trying to aim for. So for prime example, knowing now, especially my father who went on, like I said, started off very early in his days, in the streets doing on drugs and things like that, but got his life on the right track. He ended up going back to school, getting his degree, and actually became a doctor in the field of mental health and social abuse, substance abuse, excuse me. But my whole point was, now that he was able to address the issue that he once had, now able to help others. And so that's the same stuff that I see day to day, us being willing to deal with our demons, deal with those things that resonate with us. So now we're able to become healthy enough, putting the mask on ourselves in order to be strong enough to help someone else down the line. And so sometimes we want to rush out there and do the work before we actually get ourselves healthy enough to be someone who can sustain, to be in that position to help someone else. And so I encourage those, hey, don't be so focused to point forward before you actually look at what's going on inside. So that's for me, always to check myself, because I know always I got some things I have to continue to be working on, celebrate the successes, but also be willing to do what I need to do for me to address those areas that I know that can become better. And so that I share that with you, because that's discipline start with inwardly as well as it goes externally. Definitely, bro.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't normally talk about a lot of things that go on with me personally. But I think it's important based off of our conversation to understand that men go through stuff. And even though we don't talk about it, we continue to keep what we got going on in the forefront and we continue to push forward. But health is wealth. To be able to take care of your mental health, your physical health, having a relationship with your family and loved ones, and then having a relationship with your finances and all those things. The relationships that you have are important. And I look at life in different buckets. And you have to be able to be successful in all of those buckets. In life, sometimes we get tunnel vision and we get focused on one thing and then we start ignoring other things. Right now, I'm about a week away from having surgery. As you know, the shoulder replacement, but also got some other health concerns. But I'm okay. I'm gonna deal with them as they come. And I understand that these things are part of my testimony. Testimony meaning that I need to share what goes on with me so that others can learn and hopefully they make better decisions based off of the things that I've done. So when I look at me and not being open to be able to share some of the things that went along with me, now knowing that I can help somebody, I'm an open book, brother. I want to be able to help people, and nothing is more gratifying to me than being able to reach one and teach one.
Man, that's good, bro. That's good. And so what it make me think of, man, is dealing with whatever life has. Because like I say, in life, we all come across two things good going on. Wow, three or four things going on that we don't like. And so how do we continue to push past what's not while dealing with the things that are? And so sometimes we'll find ourselves in a depressed space by us focusing on the things we cannot change versus on the things we can change. And so that helps me. It's like, okay, I learned this through my guy, Brian Tracy, who gives me some insight on, it's almost like, if you cannot make a decision on something, put it on the shelf, allow it to resonate. Now, if you got to move on that because it's life or death, then okay, so you got to deal with it. But if it's not that type of decision, let it resonate for a moment. Let it sit still while you focus on those things you can make a positive direction. Because if you allow it to sit, you will sometime come back to it and you'll be able to move further, because now you had a chance to think through that situation with a clear mind in order to move in that direction. So as you're saying, man, sometimes we have some things going on that we don't like. Like you say, I'm pretty sure you definitely wish it was another answer for some of the things you're facing. But guess what? That's a part of what your story. Doesn't mean it's the end of the story, but hey, I got to deal through these things. But guess what? I'm still hopeful that whatever else I'm part of, because we actually got some positive things we're working on, even though you got these other things going on too, right? It doesn't stop the flow of where you're going. You just got to make some adjustments. And that's the beauty of when I look at us as men, making sure that we're still not allowing whatever negatives to take us out the game of continually moving forward. And that what we call ourselves moving into. Because I know one of the challenges I've seen a lot of times, especially in mentoring programs, I always start mentoring programs as a group versus one-on-one mentoring. Why? Because I know sometimes life takes us in a different direction.
Yes.
So one of the challenges I find myself with, we'll try to do one-on-one mentoring, and guys sometimes are not there after 3 months. And so I understand, yes, you may have some important things that may take you in a different direction, but you cannot let every wind blow take you away from what you said yes to. And so if you say yes to something, you have to find ways to fight through those challenges life gonna bring you. Now, of course, if you had something that moved you in a different direction, you sometimes have to go there, but try to find ways to stay consistent.
Yes.
In that, what I said yes to. Your word has to be your born. And so that's something I live on. If I say yes, then I got to stick to it. But sometimes we have to find ways to discipline ourselves to start honoring our word.
There we go. You know, Inky Johnson made a video called "Empty the Bucket." One thing that you were saying that came to mind, he said you have to commit to your commitment, meaning that you said that you wanted those things. So whatever life throws at you, you have to continue to move forward to accomplish that, because that's exactly what you said you wanted to accomplish before life started hitting you. Life is not going to be easy, just like you said. There's going to be some adversity, but your resiliency is going to be how you attack that. Resiliency is the ability to bounce back from that stuff which you go through in adversity. And that's why they need men like me and you. That's why we need strong men to be able to help the youth out, so that we can help them overcome some of those issues and obstacles so they can continue to move forward. And we can't do it alone. Mentoring one-on-one, like you said, in 3 months or so, they're gone. We need them to be able to commit and understand that life is going to happen after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year, but you can still be on track to accomplish those goals that you said that you wanted. And we need to be able to come together as men so we can build together.
Yeah, man. It just made me think of how our paths crossed. We're both in the lane of being a professional speaker. And we both have the heart to go out here and speak to the hearts and minds of our youth, our men, and to really leave an impact and to inspire and empower to be a positive change towards our community. So we have that common thread, and I share that because is that once you understand your why, you understand what excites you, regardless if you get paid for it of not as far as monetary, but you know that that right there answers that little itch that you sometimes feel like it's another void. Yes. That you know that, man, I can make a difference in someone's life. And that makes for me think about the difference between success and significance. When you think about success, I think about what I can accomplish, what I'm going to get reward for. And that's nothing wrong with that. It's definitely necessary. It's definitely needed for me to go out there and win and accomplish some things that I want to see for me and my family to get ahead. But when I think about significance, I'm thinking about how can I change the lives of not only me, but the lives of others. And that's when you can really say, man, it means so much more than that calling that I know that I've been called to for me. But I've been called to make an impact in the lives of those who I love and care for. Because a lot of people we know have had a lot of success and still find themselves in a depressed state because they have not yet reached that place of significance. And that I feel that when we tap into that, man, life gets so much sweeter. And that's something that drives me day in and day out to say, man, yeah, I want to eat. I want to eat well, but at the same time, I want to make a difference that's going to live beyond me. And that's so important.
Man, people that don't realize that don't understand this conversation because it fills you up. You can always use your cup and pour into other people, but they don't understand pouring into other people how it feels to be able to get that back, just to be able to help somebody, just to be able to see somebody put a smile on their face based off of something you did. Not necessarily invest in them monetarily, but invest in their mentor, invest in something they got going on, having a conversation, or just being a listening ear. Sometimes people need things and we miss the signs, but that's why it's important for us. The investment from one man to the next, to the young man. Why are you doing it? And you just said it, man, because we want to help. We want to impact the lives of others. And if you don't understand that walk, and if those that do, they understand how fulfilling and how great that is. When nobody's around, that does something to you. You find yourself smiling. And you know that relationship you got with God, you know he's looking down on you. He's proud of you because you're doing things that to help others. And it's not about social media. It's not about going on the internet and telling other folks what you've done. Because a lot of things that we do for others, we don't even talk about. We just do it and let our light shine during these dark days. But that's what we're supposed to. So when I look around this world and I see all the things that's going on in our community, I thank you, brother. I thank others like you, because you guys, instead of complaining about it, you roll up your sleeves and you get to work. You get to work to invest in our communities and get to invest in our young people. And not only that, you speaking life into them. So that makes us so much more powerful, so much more important, and so much more impactful what we do collectively and individually for the lives of others to be able to bridge that gap. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So important, man. I appreciate you too, bro, because you have iron sharpening iron. Like something you just said resonates with me, because I stand on the scripture that's Matthew 5:16. So let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. In the subject, man, that in your light shine, not just to shine, but let it so shine. It's one thing to have a light in the room, but when you have that spotlight, it does something, it's brighter. It resonates, but also it attracts something from others. When you have an infectious smile, you have an infectious, there's a spirit of joy. When you walk in the room, people are like something different about you. Why? Because you have a thing called love, have peace, you have joy, you have something that others, when they see it on you, they're like, man, I want some of that too. Because I know he go through life just like I do. He don't wake up with every day being a shiny day where everything flowing the way he want to, but he's still pushing past that and still find a way to smile. And so that right there speaks volume. So I just rather remind myself when I get out the car and I go into a convenience store, I go into Walmart like I'm going today. My wife would say, I hate to go to Walmart with you because guess what? I'm going to be in there talking to everybody. I just do that. That's just me. But at the same time, that's the way I think I can give back to others by just allowing my light so shine wherever I go. This would be a kindness in someone's life because we all have something we're going through. And so if I can tell you, hey, man, I like that shirt you got on, man. I like the way you just did that right there. That can actually help somebody else to push past whatever they're dealing through. Mm-hmm. And so letting your light so shine is so important that I have to continually tell myself when I go in here, oh, yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to do my best because I know I have one time to make a difference in this person's life. And today may be the one thing they need to hear that's going to encourage them to push past and keep going, man. So I live on that daily, man. So that just resonate with me when you said, let your light shine, baby.
Amen, brother. You just said it, that energy, spirit, that attractiveness. It all they had to do was just listen to you, the passion that you speak with. And it's not about you. You were talking about somebody else. You were talking about taking that energy and going into Walmart to impact the lives of others. That's what it's about. And if people can't resonate in people's spirit, then they're looking in the wrong place, bro. So everybody asks me every day, like, how you doing? And I tell them the same thing. As long as I wake up, I'm good. That's the most important thing. I can deal with everything else. As long as I wake up, that gives me an opportunity to be able to impact lives along this journey. And that's the most important part. And that's the part that filled us up. And people don't understand that. We are a bridge from where we are to where we want to be. And we have to be able to take that one day at a time, one person at a time. We don't take that for granted. One person at a time. A group is great, but it don't matter where we find soil at. We can find soil and take it anywhere to be able to plant these seeds, to be able to help people grow and evolve to be the best version of themselves. And the impact that we do is priceless.
Yeah, man. And so I'm excited, man, because it just let me know, man, when you do the small work, which is to not always try to go out there and swing and get a home run. But if you just get a base hit, if you just do the simple stuff consistently, not so one time hit, but consistently day in and day out, doing those simple routines that sometimes people's like, man, wipe on, wipe off. Why I'm doing this? That simple work, man, this is how much further it can get you as you go on in this life. And so even I wanted to kind of share this as we're closing out, man, because we got some things we're connecting on. But one, we're doing some things in the speaking arena where we're going to be speaking on some of the same stages where we're going to be impacting us as men. And so definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be in the upcoming month in February. We got that coming up. And also we have our Men on the Rise men's group, man. So, man, I'm telling you, if those don't know about that, man, I'm so excited. But I want to hear your view on it because I already know my heart is to see a positive impact on men, regardless of where you are in life. It doesn't matter if you are a CEO. It doesn't matter if you find yourself homeless. I know we all as men can build a community where we can make a difference in the lives of those we care for. And so I'm looking and so excited about this, how this year is going to be a major stride. And so we're going to be doing some things. We're going to be talking more about what that looks like, but I'm going to share a little bit from my end, but I want you to kind of just share what you see going into this new year, how you see it impacting the lives of the men you come in contact with, man. Hit it a little bit. Let me come back with it.
So I'm going to say this right now. For all the men out there, if you're looking for a safe space to be able to join, collaborate, and evolve and grow with men and be a man, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you work at the factory. I don't care if you're in the church. I don't care what your calling is, where you work at. Men on the Rise, Mondays, you have to be a part of this. Tune in. Invite your nephews. Invite your sons. Invite cousins. Invite young men. Be able to come to a place where they can all come, learn, use their experience, and provide value, and also gain value from other men that's trying to impact the lives of not only our own communities, but the lives of others as well. We come in to speak life. We come in to talk. We come in to share, and we also come in to be vulnerable so men can be able to become men and then teach younger men how to be stronger men. I encourage everybody to take advantage of this opportunity. It's not charging you anything. It's free. And you better understand when we talk about the value of something, it's not free. Look around in this world. Everything in this world costs. That cost is always associated with something. The value that you're going to get from being on Men on the Rise is priceless. You have to be able to tap in and take advantage of this. Reach out to this brother right here, Stephen Loney. I'm telling you, from my personal experience, this brother is doing wonderful things in this community. I'm blessed to know him, to be able to work with him and be a part of this community. And I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate. If you don't mind, just let the people know how they can tap in with you and just stay connected with what you got going on, my brother.
They can find me, Chanamare Coleman, Facebook, IG, on all platforms. If not, look up Men on the Rise. You can find me there and find other men out here doing powerful things in our community.
That's what's up, my brother, man. I appreciate so much for your time today, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And in the meantime, y'all continue to go out there being great. Until the next time, we holler at you. Men on the Rise. Let's do it, man. Be great.
Have a good one.